Well, honestly, myself, when that was said about Billy Graham, I didn't care. I thought that was kind of funny. But people are saying that about Christopher Hitchens, and I'm offended. And, it's kind of a little bit of hypocrisy. Is that okay to be hypocritical? Should there be a double standard when it's my guys versus their guys?
Well, I mean,
it might be human nature.
It's not, I mean, it's not so much whether it's okay. I mean, it's going to happen no matter what. People have their preferences, and, it might piss me off if people talk badly about Richard Dawkins or Christopher Hitchens, although, I talk bad about them sometimes too if they say something I don't like. I wouldn't say good riddance if he died, because I like the guy mostly.
I think the most important thing is what's being said true, and if something is being said or made up or whatever, like very often when someone dies who was questionable believer or non-believer, there's these myths that get circulated that there was a deathbed confession and they gave their life to Jesus at the last moment and all that, and that's just really annoying to me to have. It's a way of stealing credit through lies of this person's work or whatever, their beliefs or their stance or whatever they stood for. And I just really hate that sort of thing. So if what is being said is the truth, I don't think there can be any complaint, right?
I remember an editorial being written, and I can't remember the details right now, but it was something like, God is doing a great thing by giving Christopher Hitchens cancer because it's going to bring him to Jesus. It's going to make him realize the error of his ways. Yeah. And I think P.Z. Myers has a term for people who write like that. He calls them contemptible ghouls because they are sort of using the opportunity to
capitalize on somebody else's pain.
Capitalize on somebody else's pain, whereas I think saying good riddance about Billy Graham, it's kind of a jerky thing to say, but but that doesn't mean that Matt can't say it, and he may even be justified in saying that. But it's a whole nother category to sort of to sort of lie about the outcome of this sort of thing, to come up with something similar to the Darwin Lady Hope story, where you say, oh, he actually converted on his deathbed, when he didn't. Mm-hmm. They said the same thing about Gould, didn't they?
Oh, it's a popular thing. It's been used a lot.
Yeah, the idea of an atheist vindicating your beliefs by converting them at the last minute in secret to one eyewitness is a very popular theme in Christian fiction.
Right.
And
just to say Christianity.
I'm not saying it can't happen, and I would say, in fact, that even if Christopher Hitchens, at the last moment of his life, said, "Oh my God, how could I have been so blind all along? Jesus is the one true God." That doesn't mean that atheists would take him seriously, because I don't think that atheists do or should bring one guy, elevate one guy as the spokesperson, as the one arbiter of truth.
We're not followers. We come to our own conclusions.
Right. There isn't an atheist pope.
And if somebody changes their mind, well, maybe they know some facts, or maybe they're made a mistake or whatever. That's sort of that's a separate issue to how we're going to make decisions, right?
Yeah. Look at the reaction to Antony Flew.
Right.
I mean, Antony Flew is seemingly a genuine
atheist.
Case, where he actually changed his mind when he got old. And who jumped all over this story? It wasn't a bunch of atheists converting en masse because they worshipped Antony Flew. It was a bunch of Christians saying, "See, this just proves that we're right." In the atheist community, it was like, "Wow, what made him think that?" And in my case, Antony who?
Yeah, I didn't know him. But the big irony there is that Antony Flew converted to deism and denied Christianity, but the Christians are promoting it. Oh, we're right, It's like, no, you need to understand what he's talking about.
Well,
right, so it's pure propaganda.
If you're going to buy into Pascal's wager, wouldn't that be the best time to, right at the very end, last second?
Oh, yeah, hedging your bets.
Well, that's supposedly what Constantine did, is that he decided that it was too risky to convert to Christianity before he was on his deathbed because he might sin. and if you convert it at the very end, you get all the goodies supposedly, right? So
Right.
So it's very calculated.
Back in the day to get baptized right before you die.
Yeah, that's a pretty common thing, I guess.
Right. Jack Chick, one of my favorite Chick tracks, was about the gunslinger who's, this evil mustachioed guy, and he, murders a bunch of people, and then at the end he winds up having a last-minute conversion just like that. And the sheriff, who is presented as a good law-abiding citizen, goes to hell after a snake scares his horse or something. And this is the way things work in the fictional Jack Chick universe. And then at the end of the tract, it says, now get down on your knees and say, Jesus, come into my heart. So, I read a Jack Chick tract once, and I said, okay, got down on my knees, said, Jesus, come into my heart. Got back up, continued doing an atheist show. So I'm covered. As far as Pascal's wager goes, I can be an atheist all I want.
Right then, or did he want you to kill a bunch of people and then go down on your knees?
Well, that wasn't the advice in the tract.
Oh. Well, then it's unclear. I think he should, be a little clearer in his message.
Yeah.
Right.
I think it's all pretty silly, so I wouldn't have even done that, Russell. But
well, I mean, I figure as far as Pascal's
just
wager
make the
goes,
audience aware that this was a tongue-in-cheek thing, right?
Yeah, it was tongue-in-cheek.
Okay.
At no point in this...
We don't take it that seriously.
Yeah, at no point in this did I actually, think that this was doing anything except for a laugh.
Right. Anyway. Okay, Ben,
All
anything
right.
else?
Nope, that's it. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thanks a lot for calling.
Thanks.
Bye.
All right, so we have somebody on topic. How about that?
Okay.
Peter in Poland wants to talk about Christian buzzwords.
Okay, hey.
Hello?
Hello.
Hi,
Poznan,
how are
huh?
you?
How are you all doing?
Good.
Fine.
I know some folks there in Poznan.
Yeah, you're our longest
Actually,
distance
I'm
caller
not from
today.
Poznan, but the guy who puts the location of the callers over there wanted me to give a name of a city that's relatively close to mine, and a city that would be big enough to be identifiable and the
I
name
see.
to be pronounceable.
So
I
it's
just gave that
close
name.
enough.
So
Close
you're
enough for TV.
approximately in
Anyway,
Poznan.
the topic that I wanted to address, since, as you most probably know, according to the statistics, most people in Poland are Catholics, but the statistics really only mention the fact that they are Christed. So I doubt if they count the fact that someone might not attend church after the communion, or like me, for example, that I never really bothered to fill out the apostasy papers. Anyway, the topic.
That's a
To get on
common
the
thing
topic,
here.
One of their most favorite. One of the most favorite words they have, they use to say that abortion is murder. They usually equate it to like you would murder a person, and they actually have a special exposition where they ride around Poland, and they have pictures of Hitler, so there goes Godwin's law, and pictures of aborted fetuses, of late-term abortions, very bloody pictures, and they place them usually in city centers. So, for example, there's a city called Lublin, and they placed it in the center, and young children could see this, and the point of this was obviously to shock people into thinking that every abortion looks like this. So when you take, for example, the next day pill, then this is what comes out of you. And,
Yeah, it's kind of very manipulative,
happens
isn't it?
here too.
It's very manipulative.
Abortion is a medical procedure, and a lot of medical procedures are pretty gross. I mean, I bet if you would put up a picture of open heart surgery in a town
Or
square
cancer
also,
extraction or anything
yeah,
like that.
it would be pretty disgusting and horrific also. But going for that emotional punch does not in any way validate their argument about whether whether the fetus is actually a thinking individual. And of course, they have an argument about it having a soul. But I mean, I don't believe in a soul, so whatever.
So either way, the guy who's behind this exhibition has been put in front of has been actually sued by people who were offended by this.
Oh, that's
and
interesting.
He was let go.
Okay.
So what organization was he working for? Was he with the Catholic Church?
Let me just Google that. That was.
Yeah. What would we do without Google, huh?
Yeah, I know. Like 20 years ago, we had to
we had to-
rely on
Our memories.
libraries and stuff.
Yeah. What's anyway?
Okay.
The exhibition is called "Choose Life, Stop Abortion."
Oh, that sounds familiar.
Yeah, that sounds very much like the
Seems
sort
to
of
be
things
all
that go
over
on
the
here.
place.
There's at family planning clinics where abortions are sometimes performed. You see this sort of spectacle here in the United States quite a bit, and it's really a very traumatic experience, I think, for the women that are going in there, either just to get birth control or plan their families. They have to see all this, and if people are actually seeking abortions, which are legal here in the U.S., it's a real gauntlet that they have to run, and it's really kind of sad what they get put through.
Right.
It is sad, and I'm sure it is traumatizing. I mean, I obviously can tell because I can't get pregnant. I'm not a woman, but
Yeah.
I guess it would be very traumatizing. But there is no need really to shock little children with such images.
I agree.
That's what I think.
Right.
And
Well, I mean,
the other thing that they like to mention is. Sorry about the phone lag.
No problem.
And
It's okay.
they just like to say that they're happy with the exhibition because it gets them what they want. They want attention, and that's generally what they get. And well, I say that if you want attention, you could just blow yourself up in the middle of the city. That would garner attention too. But if your main motive is gaining attention, then you're just going to do things that are obviously bordering on being evil. And I'm not sure how much of a Christian way that is, but I do know that Christianity used to be pretty bloody in the past, so maybe that's actually what's going on. They're returning to their roots.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's a typical tactic in general that if you don't really have factual information on your side, then going for a cheap emotional appeal is an easy way to accomplish things. I mean, there's a lot of discussion to be had. I mean, when they say it's murder, the question. The question really is, why do you draw a sharp dividing line at that point? I mean, like, why not? Why isn't it that, as a sperm approaches an egg, there are actually millions of other sperms also approaching the egg, and the vast majority of them will die.
Yeah.
None of them, nobody anywhere argues that that is some kind of mass murder event every single time a child is conceived. Nobody is saddened or depressed by that. And, I don't want to make light of actual infanticide, which abortion is not, basically. I heard an interesting question that was posed by somebody, which is that if you had a burning building with a freezer full of potentially several million human lives in a petri dish somewhere,
Embryos, right?
Yeah, embryos.
Frozen embryos.
And you had in another corner a single 5-year-old child, would you save the child or the freezer? Nobody, I think, is crazy enough to save the freezer.
Right.
I mean, there is a distinction that ought to be drawn here, and I think that the fact that so many people view it as murders now, when it wasn't even viewed as murder in biblical times, has to do with sort of social consensus that was arrived at that this is just the way stuff is.
Oh, well, I have a more cynical view.
Okay.
I
love cynicism.
You hear this phrase here in the United States, the sanctity of human life, and it's been. I think that if you look at every time that phrase is used, the value of a human life is proportional to how much potential tithing that person can do from then on, right?